So hello guys, as you have seen yesterday the different types of permissions which are owned by the owner, group and others, and the different types of variables that are used in the Linux operating system that are being seen yesterday. So today we are moving on to the other subject or the other topic that leads us to the pipes and filters. So basically pipes are used in between two joints or two places. So here we can understand that the pipes are used in between the two commands. So those two commands are either it should be the input to the second input or output of the first input. So basically this is told that transfer of the standard output to the different locations. That means it is used to send the output of a command of an user or a programmer or a group to the other sort of programmer, user or command. So this is the main concept of the pipe. So basically pipes means it will be the interconnection in between the pipes for input of the second input and output of the first input. So this is the main clear idea of the pipes. So as we move on, we will know about the filters. Filters will take the information that is required to the user when the filter command is given. So filter is also basically a command that will filterize the information that we have, and if we ask for certain sort of energy or certain sort of information from the file, it will be derived from that. So that is the topic of filter. So if we have the if we want to know the different types of filters, we have AWK, SCD, SPEL and WC. We will generally use the WC in the Linux operating system for many purposes. So here in the sort command, we will basically have the information that we need to be sorted. So if we want to sort the numbers out of the different types of numbers, we can give the sort this range of numbers to this range of numbers. So if you want to sort different types of alphabets or different types of fruits, you can rearrange them in a particular order. So if you want to sort, there are mainly four types of sortings. They are sort to the numbers. So if you want to sort numbers in the reverse order, means we will have basically an input of the file name file 1, and we have the input 0 to 10. So if you want to basically sort the numbers, then you can give hashtag sort file 1. So they will be arranged to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. So if you want to rearrange it in the reverse order, then you can go for hashtag sort minus R file 1. So it will be arranged as 10, 9, 8, like that it will be gone up to 0. So if you want to arrange different types of alphabetical ordered names, so then we will go for hashtag sort n file 1. So if we go for n, then it will be of arranging the file. So if we have the file named as file 2, so that here we have the file inputs as apple, banana, orange. So as you see, according to the alphabetical order, A, B, O is the basically correct order. So if we give hashtag sort file 2, then it will come apple, banana, orange. If we go for reverse order in the files, then it will come as hashtag sort minus R or hyphen R file 2. So then we get orange, banana, apple. In the reverse order of the naturally occurring numbers, then we have to give in the sequence of numbers, so that we will give that hashtag sort minus or hyphen nr file 1, so that we will get the order in the reverse form in the exact numbers, which will not jumble or it will not shuffle. As we move on to the next topic, file editors. So basically file editors are the editors which are used to edit the information that is present in the file. So basically we have three types of editors: gedit, or that is known as graphical edit, or vi or nano editor. So basically the simplest form of editor is gedit or graphical edit. It is the basic type and it is used for the beginners, and it is used like if you use the notepad in a Windows, same it is used as here in the Linux operating system. We need to have this on the desktop terminal. So if we don't have desktop terminal in our Linux operating system, that is in the home directory, then we can use Nano or Vim editors. So first, if we see about graphical editor, then we can see it will open as the same file in the notepad. We can enter the data. If you want to erase it, we can erase by backspace, and we can enter it, and we can copy paste different sort of, everything can be done as done in the Windows notepad. So that is the gedit or graphical edit. Next we will move on to the second type. If we don't have any sort of desktop terminal in our desktop, then we can go to the Nano editor. So if we go to Nano editor, this is a type of editor which is use the involves the keys, means it will have different sort of informational keys that will represent as here we will use the up arrow or the cursor button for the using of the control name control. So if we see here we can see the control G. This is given for help. As it is, we will view that here the control is actually the Windows type of format. Here in Windows, the control button here is related to the shift. So if you want to, as it is, if we want to go into YouTube, if we want to skip to the next video, we will give shift plus N. If you want to raise the volume, we will go for up button, down button, or else if you want to seek the video, we will go for arrows, left, right arrows. So here in that, like that, here we will use the control button as the shift. So here we have different types of commands we will get from the Nano editor. So that control G is for getting help. So if you want any sorts of help in the this Nano editor, we can get by this control G. So control O is for write out, means if you want to do any sorts of operations on that, means if you want to write any instructions to that, or if you want to add any sort of data to that, you can go for control O. Control R is to read the file. If you want to just read the file in the Nano editor, you can go for control R, because if you don't want to risk the material that is present in the file one, you cannot go for giving the all permissions to the user. So you need to give control R editor, control R to the editor, so that you can only read the file and you cannot change any sort of information that is present in the file. And next, if we go for the control Y, we will go for the previous page. Means the previous page that is allotted, or we are doing the work with the previous file or anything, we can go for control Y. Then control K, if it is to cut the text. Control K means cut the text. If you want to cut the text and paste somewhere, or if you want to remove the text from place, then you can use the control K. So control plus C, it is for internal or economic process. If you want to see the position of something, or if you want to see the position for the word that is given in the sort of binary, then you can see the format control C. In the control X is to exit. If you want to exit the Nano editor, then you can use the control X. If you want to see whether the information that is given, that is in the file, is justified or not for the equal sorts of punctuations or spaces or different types of numbers in the binary, you can see with control J. So control J is used for the justification and justify. Next we will go for the control W, means where is, means if you want to see the information where it is present, then we will go for control W. Next we will go for control V. As I said earlier, the control Y is the previous page, control V is the next page. So you can go to the next page if you want, so that we can seek the information from there, as we read in the file by control R. So next, if you want to undo the cutting of the text before you have done with the control K, you can use the control U to uncut the text. Means you can undo the options you have done before, so that you can re-enter the data that is present at there. So control T is to spell, means if you have any wrong type of spellings in the file, if you have, for suppose let us take in the file 2, as we said earlier, apple, we gave only one P in the letter in the word apple, so that APLE. If you want to check the spelling if it is correct or not, then you can go for control T, so that it will check the spelling and give the correct spelling to us, so that we can enter the correct information through that. So this is about nano editor. Next, if we go into the different sorts of commanding, that will be if you want to save from the nano editor, you need to go, as I said earlier, if you want to do any sorts of instructions or programming accessories, we need to go to the control O, that is write out. So if we go into the page write out, we will get some options in the file line, so that we can do any sort of operations that are done in the any sort of operations that are done in the different operating systems. Those are, we can make this file into different formats like DOS, Mac, append, prepend and backup file. So if you want to do a backup file, we can go for MB, means M plus B. If you want to go for a DOS file, we can go for MD. If you want to go for Mac file or Mac format, then you can go for MM. So these are the different sorts of operating systems that are eligible to do in the nano editor. So this is about the nano editor. Next we can go to the VI editor. So VI editor is an editor which is basically known as the VI improved. Why it is improved? Because it is visually easy and user friendly, so that the user can be very much easily accessing the files that are related to him or the owner that up to the given permissions. So it is usually available on the all flavors of the Unix system. There are different types of flavors or the different types of versions, as you know, in the Unix system. So this is available on all sorts of flavors or versions in the Unix system. Next, it has few resources. It does not require way more resources like nano or the graphical edit, because this is the updated form of those both. Next, more user friendly or Redux. I have said earlier. So this is basically more friendly than gedit or nano editors, because this requires less sort of information to make it process or make it done. So these are the commands that are used in the VI editor. Those are VI file name. So this will let us to know that there is any sort of file that is with this name, or it will create a new file with this name. So this is the command that is used to use for creating a new file, or whether to check the existing file will be there. VI slash minus or hyphen R file name, so that here the VI editor will be checking whether the file is there, and if the file is there, then it will only give the permission to read the file, means it will only go into the read only mode. Next, VI view file name. This is the basic entry in the default, so that we can see the file name and we can open it by going into the commands. So as we go into the graphical interference of the VIM or VI editor, we can see that we have command mode in the basic operating space. So here we can see different types of slashes in the graphical interference. You cannot enter directly by like pressing the keyboard. You need to first press the insert button, so that you can insert any sort of information that is related to entering in the file. Now if you go for the following commands, you will have insert mode is an option, so that you can enter the any sort of information. If you want to remove it, you need to go exit, means if you want to escape the insert mode, then you can press escape button. Next, if you want any sort of information to be copied or paste or cut, then we can have, if you want to copy, it is YY means yanked information, so that it is, if you have any sort of information present in that file, if you want to copy it again, then you can use the text YY in the insert mode, so that it will be inserting the same input down. If you want to copy more than one letter, then you can go for NYY, means N is the number of lines that you want to copy in the in the source of format which is given in the before file. So if you have a file name, as I said earlier, 0 to 10, if you want to copy first 0, then YY that will be selected so that it will appear below the 10. If you want to copy 1 to 4, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 5. So 5YY in the command in the insert list, so that if you press enter, you will get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in below 10, means 0 to 10 here and 0 to 4 down. So that is how we copy and paste the information. If you want to paste the information, then you need to queue the P command in the insert mode. If you want to cut any sort of information, then you will go for CC. If you want to cut one line or one line of information, then you will go for CC in the insert mode and P in the insert mode, so that you will get the same 0 here. But there the 0 will be not there. Only from there you will cut the information so that it will be removed, and 1 to 10 will be there, down it will be there the 0. If you want to cut 3 to 4 lines, then you will go for 4cc or 3cc, ncc, because n is the sort of number of lines that should be cut from there and should be pasted. If you here also, if you want to paste, you will give the instruction that P to paste the main sort of information that is cut or copied. So now we will go for as I said earlier, if you want to escape from that, you need to press escape button, or you can just give the command first that in insert mode WQ, so that if you want to write and quit, so if you stop writing at that point and press enter, you can directly exit or quit. So you can quit writing by the time, and you can give the P option so that it will paste the any sort of cut or copy information from above to below, and it will be processed. That is the main sort of the VI editor that is remaining on this page, so that we can wrap up the information that we have 3 types of editor: gedit and nano edit and VI. So this is the complete abbreviation for everything and complete explanation for every editor. Now we are generally going into the shell part. So what is shell? Basically, a shell means the covering. As I said earlier, Linux is an operating system or an kernel, because it works in between user and the hardware, so that it will make the user to work, make the hardware work, and it will take the information again to the user, so that user can use the information. So as it is, we can say that it is a kernel which is covered is known as the shell. So basically, shell means it is an intermediate or interpreter between the user and the OS. What I have said earlier, user and hardware has the intermediate known as the kernel, but here the user and OS will have the intermediate as the shell. So shell is the basic intermediate and interpreter in between user and OS. It takes input, and so here we can basically say that it will take the input from the user, it will translate into the machine language, and it will again take the input from the machine language, and it will translate it to the common person's eligibility, so that user can use the information. Here the kernel can be only used by machine language or binary system. So this acts as the translator in between user and the OS or the kernel. So there are different types of shells in this Linux operating system. So SH means basically secured shell. As I said earlier in the beginning of the topic, this is the way more secured than any sort of operating system that is there in the entire our operating systems. So if you see, we have Mac and Windows, so that there is some sort of leakage or some sort of misguided information in that, so that we have a number of trackers that are being installed in our desktop, we couldn't access them. But Linux will not allow or will not accept any sort of illegal transferring of data. So here firstly we have the type of the shell, because this is the secured shell. The root user only can use the information that is stored in this basically fixed data. So if you want to see the basically means the word I am telling basically this time means that is for default user. That means the standard user, as I said earlier, he can only use only some sort of information. But here I am telling that root user means he has to create one file or he has to create one directory, so that the root user is particularly secured to that shell, so that he cannot access any sort of other users information. Nobody can use his information. That is the first type of shell. The second type of shell is kernel shell. As I said earlier, it is the covering in between the operating system and the user. So it acts as a shell in between for the kernel. So kernel is basically stored and securely saved, so that the information on this we will be acting according to the different sorts of operating system. So if you want to act like different operating system like C or C++ or Java or Python, if you want to work on that operating system, this computer or this operating system can act like them. Means if you want to give the work like that information or that sorts of commands, then you can give and this will work as that, because Linux operating system has the translating device that is known as shell. So this kernel shell will translate that sort of information to the original OS as if it is the Linux operating system. So these commands will be as it is operated by every sort of person, so that you can get any type of language to answer the commands, so that we can basically operate different types of operating systems in Linux operating systems. Next we will go to the restricted shell. So as I said earlier, it is very secure. The security is very much known for the shell process, so that it will be restricted for the every sort of user, for their only users, because the owner should give any sort of information or any sort of permission to go to the another user or use the information present in the another user's file. So here the restricted shell acts as the basic wall in between the user 1 and user 2. Basically, if you want to say simplified, or you can say that it acts as a firewall in between the user to do not breach the data to the other users if he does not give any sort of permissions. Next, the bash shell. Bash shell is the born again shell. So this is the sort of shell which is completely computed with all sorts of shells till now I said, so that the all types of shells will be acting in this, and this is the highly modified shell. Now we are using in the different types of operating systems like Red Hat and everything like that, so that here in this, as I said earlier, we can work with any sort of operating system in the commands, so that the Linux operating system will only translate itself by using this shell. So this is the main concept of today's program, that or the class today. By we can know that different types of uses in pipes, files and filters, so that we can go for different types of shells. What is a shell? So this is the topic we have learned today. Thank you.